You're listening to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz. This is the Patient Partner Show. We are on iHeart Talk Radio. We are also a podcast on Spreaker. Jeannie Roller is my co-host. Jeannie, we are talking about an article that you read, very interesting, very positive, and it is, tell me one thing about you, this doctor. I'm going to call him old-timey doctor for lack of a better word, but this is the doctoring we are all talking about, that we all need. Tell me one thing about you, he said to his patient who was refusing a procedure, and then when they got into the conversation with this younger patient, the patient actually listened to the doctor and consented to the procedure. So let's talk about this, Jeannie. These are the doctors that are out there. We love you guys, you women. This is the healthcare that we're looking for. And such a difference that it makes when the patient is involved in their own situation, their own recovery, their own planning, their own procedure kind of thing. And how many minutes does it take out of a doctor's day to do this? But big box healthcare says you got 10 minutes with the patient and that's it. Let's talk about this, Jeannie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this doctor, he had for a number of years, he referred to patients as charts, numbers, and he didn't really know anything about them. And then one day a patient had died and he happened to walk by the room and it was empty. And he said he felt really bad because he didn't know anything about that patient other than, they had this and this and this, but that's it medically. He didn't know anything about them. And so he decided to change. And so he started on a quest of asking patients to tell me one important thing about you. And he would learn, different things about different patients. And he found out that, patients seemed to trust him more. They would talk to him more honestly about medical things. And he said then one day he went into a patient room and the people all around had said this young person would not consent to having kidney dialysis. And without it, they would die. So he went in there and he said he didn't talk anything medically. He just went in there to sit down. And he said he spotted tattoos on this patient and started talking about the tattoos. And they started having a conversation. And this person was talking about, well, they would have liked to become a tattoo artist. And the doctor was like, oh, yeah, that'd be, just encouraging things. And by the time he got up and left, this patient said, I'll do it.
The dialysis.
And he never asked him. Yeah, the dialysis. Never talked to him about it and, didn't put pressure on him. But it just kind of goes back to the thing of when you're not treated like a number or a 10-minute appointment, that you're more likely to, have trust and a relationship. If your doctor says something like, well, that they love taco salad, then you have a little piece of information about your doctor too. And he would tell, things like that to his patients. And then he started teaching others to do that in his hospital system. And they saw that, things improved because patients were more willing to talk, to be honest, because they no longer felt like just, that number, that chart.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What's your date of birth? What's your insurance number? And that's it. Kind of thing.
Right.
His original mindset of it. Well, isn't this what doctors, and I don't want to call it old timey because doctors still do it. I was just counting on my hand the ones that I go to now because I've certainly looked them out that this is how they treat people. Because I'm like you, Jeannie. I mean, I'm not going to, if I can possibly help it, I'm not going to fall back into the clutches of that other if I can possibly help it. But there's your answer. We're people at the end of the day. And that's all anybody wants. And that's all anybody wants in life across the board. It's not even talking about medical. It's just in society, as a person in society. To have someone smile at them, to have someone, take interest in them, to have a conversation. We're all human beings at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. And, patients have hopes and dreams too.
Yep. So do doctors.
They have a family. Yeah. They have families to go home to, just like the doctors and the nurses do. And so, when you start dealing with patients as being people rather than being an insurance claim or an illness, I think that you have greater humanity because they're no longer just an object. They are an actual being.
And that works the other way, too, because I can hear nurses and doctors and techs and all that saying, we get treated like so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm not trying to make a defense. Some of it is the medications that patients are taking. It certainly skews your thinking and the way you feel and all that. But that works, too. There's no reason to be abusing doctors and nurses just right out of the get-go. That where it does work both ways, and then the calmer, the more humane, the more respectful each side is, it certainly produces a better outcome across the board. It does.
It does.
It does,
really
and
does.
that's all we're asking for. Originally, like we've said before, when these things happened to us, we weren't looking to sue anybody. I wasn't looking. I wanted it changed. I wanted my whole situation. I knew it was wrong. Please don't let this happen to somebody else, is all I kept saying. There is no way that this is good health care. No way. This is some, drive-through whatever, and don't let this happen to somebody else. And I know that it did. I know people that it did happen to after me. But that's what you and I wanted, Jeannie. That's why we started this podcast. That's why we talk to the group of people that we talk with. We're all in it for the same thing. Both sides need to be winners. This isn't one guy's the bad guy, the other guy's. It's the system that's the bad guy. And people are figuring it out. I mean, this shoving it down your throat or however you want to label it, that this is it, you get 10 minutes with your doctor on to the next one. Well, I think that the statistics would show, I'm going to make a note to myself to see if I can look some of this up. The statistics are going to show that this big box healthcare stuff is out the door. Because most people are looking for what you're just talking about. And you know what? At the end of the day, that procedure, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer. These podcasts are your and my opinion, Jeannie, and people that come on opinions. That outcome for that patient is going to be much better, probably quicker, easier across the board than it would have been dragging the person, kicking and screaming and insisting this is what you need. And that's it.
Right.
What's your date of birth? What's your whatever? That's it. Get in the chair. We're doing an MRI, and that's it. I'm the doctor. I'm the nurse. That's it. That's what we don't want. You know what I mean? It's just, it's so simple.
Well,
it's so simple.
It shows a level of caring.
Right. Right.
And that's what most of us want. We want them to care about us in the moment.
Right. That's their job.
And I think,
right.
Yeah. And instead of looking at a computer screen or a chart and, never looking up and seeing you as a person.
Yep. So much of that stuff.
I think, yeah.
I mean, it goes to other things too. I mean, veterinarians, any aspect of life. I mean, if you go into a store and the person is so decent to you or whatever, I mean, a lot of times you're going to buy more stuff. I mean, just because, I really like that place. Right? I mean, it sounds silly, and I don't mean to trivialize medical care, but I mean, you just feel, oh yeah, and as opposed to going in there, go, what do you want? Kind of. It's same as a restaurant when you go out to eat or whatever. Don't you want friendly people? You want people that you seemingly are going to care about you for the next 2 hours or however long you're there. I mean, it's just across the board. It's society. People want to be heard and seen and be taken care of, and they want to be respected and have, dignity. It's simple. It's just simple.
We have to wonder if medical school isn't teaching this. If they're not, then they should be, because, I mean, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It doesn't really cost them anything to ask a question like that. I mean, in fact, it gives more to them than not asking and then just treating that person as an object.
Well, I think some of it goes back to you can say this, and I know I can hear my mind echoing, is some people are in the right jobs for the right reasons and some just aren't. And that's in any profession. It is. It's doctors, lawyers, teachers, mechanics, truck drivers, it's any profession. Some people are doing it to get by, and some people are in it to win it, kind of thing. It just is the way the world works. On that note, stay listening to Evergreen Media Network.